I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, yeah. Baby, I'm bad.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad. Chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back. I'll be swinging on till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me. Ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact. Give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious. I'ma go cause some pain, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame, yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing? Hello, hello, hello. Are we doing good? Let me move that back up there. All right, we're good. What's up, everybody? Okay. So I have, oh God, I want to say in a week and a half, I haven't touched this Ethel Essence of Thought stuff at all. I got overwhelmed by a bunch of information that I got, and I'm trying to shift through it all, and I don't know how much I'm going to use, but oh my God, it's amazing. I'm thinking I'm just going to skirt over the Rachel Oates stuff and concentrate more on because I was going to do 2 videos, but I'm thinking I'm just going to do the one and I'm going to skirt over the Rachel Oates stuff and then just concentrate on the Evangelina. So yeah, it runs way too deep. Okay, here's the thing, fun bad, there is no brief rundown when it comes to Essence of Thought. There is no brief rundown. I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but there really is no brief rundown. It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. So there are some videos I want to watch. I don't know. I haven't seen how long they are, so we may end up only watching one. But I'm still in 2019. So this video here. Hold on. Yeah. Pause it. Put it over here. Alright. Oh, it's not that long. It's only an hour. Ethel does seem a lot to handle. I can't imagine having to listen to her for extended periods of time for research. It gets rough. I looked her up and it goes way back in terms of drama. Yes. If you try to do a brief rundown, you'll look like Charlie from... Oh, wait. No, I will not look like him. Yeah. Alright, so I guess this is the one video that really... Hold on, let me look at my notes. Hold on. I guess this is the one video that really starts the Rachel Oates video dump. And it's called Defamation, Death Threats, and Rachel Oates. Bruh. Oh my god. Alright. Let's see. And I'm going to be writing notes, so, you know, there's going to be moments of dead air. Hold on, I'm writing this title down, or I'm writing some of the title down. I'm not writing all this. Alright. Alright. 2019. Alright. Hey, Castajamas. I so badly want to understand Ethel's beef. I think Ethel's beef with Rachel is the simple fact that she stood up for rationality rules. And I think Ethel was mad that she got contested against rationality rules. And it seems like a bunch of people, including trans people, were on rationality rules side in the sense of, hey, listen, he didn't understand what he did wrong in the video. We talked to him, but that's the whole point, in especially with the woman that was in Rationality Rules video. She was like, listen, the whole point of that is having conversations. And if somebody gets something wrong, but we talk to them and they realize it and they try to move forward, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. People are going to get things wrong. And Ethel was really angry. She was calling that woman a token. They were a trans woman in Rationality Rules video, and Ethel was calling them a token. And I think the problem is Ethel expected everybody to jump on Rationality Rules, and she expected everybody to take her side. And I think the reason why she went after Vangelina was... Oh, that's what I want to watch. Okay, we're going to watch this, and then we're going to watch another video. But I think the whole point of going after Vangelina was because she's friends with Rachel Oates. Oh, Ethel definitely has a victim mentality. Oh, Ethel absolutely has a victim mentality. The whole source of this is all still migraine inducing, 100% rotten. Oh my god. So, let's watch this. God. I'm scared. Buddy system. Alright, so this is like the first Rachel Oates video. Alright. Alright, let's go. Is it playing?
Let's say we had this atheist YouTuber. We'll call him Mr. Secularist. Now, Mr. Secularist specializes in criticizing religious bigotry. But eventually, Mr. Secularist comes across another YouTuber, a Christian who goes by the
Okay, how is it that you can't keep your time? Okay, here we go.
name of Woman Described. Woman Described puts out anti-LGBT+ and anti-atheist content based on her religious beliefs. Over the coming months, Mr. Secularist produces video after video criticizing Woman Described, creating more than 30 videos. Then, one day, out of the blue, Woman Described puts out a video. In the video,
Will you please just use names? Because all this that you're doing here, I don't understand how anybody can watch your videos. I'm going to be honest.
she claims that the criticism labelled against her by Mr. Secularist have driven her to the edge. She raises a blood-covered arm and accuses Mr. Secularist of having harassed her to the point of breaking. Now, how do we react to that situation? Was Mr. Secularist in the wrong for criticising what he genuinely saw to
Wait, is he talking about Rachel Oates' video where she cut herself? No.
be a problem? Should he have not criticised Woman Described since he could have not predicted the way she would respond? Would we apply the standard to the criticism of all people, or just people with a specific set of traits? What if, say, someone like Kirk Cameron made the same claims about all the criticism labelled against him? What if he demanded his critics silence themselves for his well-being? What if he did so whilst continuing to propagate an anti-LGBT+/atheist narrative or support those who did? What if Mr. Secularist had only criticised Woman Described a total of 7 times instead of 30+? These are some of the many questions brought up by this hypothetical scenario.
Okay, I hate it when people don't use names, because when you go back and watch this shit, I don't know who they are talking about. I don't know specifically who they are talking about. Oh my God. Come on.
And we'll return to them as we discuss the defamation which has been targeted at me this year. But first we need to go over what took place on September the 4th and the days leading up to it. We will also discuss the response of various people who had seemingly been waiting on the sidelines, ready to try and bury me with any passing opportunity. Now, why am I going over all this now? Why not all those weeks ago when the event actually took place? Well, the defamation carried out was severe enough that we involved the law. Since then, we've been working in cooperation with the police to document what occurred. We also sought legal advice from experts working in India, the UK, the US and Australia to ensure that my prior actions and this video are reasonable and justified. Now, all this work took time, especially working with police. As a result, my hands were effectively tied until now, allowing those seeking to defame me a head start. But the truth rises to the top like oil and water, and so here we are.
Did you harass
The 4th of
Rachel
September,
Oates?
1:26 p.m. India Standard Time.
This isn't for the sake of drama. I want a genuine apology, not just for me, but for everyone. Since EOT has me blocked, and I can't tell them how their words hurt me, can someone please send him a screenshot of my thread and see if they apologize this time?
The 4th of September, 5:44 p.m. India Standard Time.
I don't want to post this, but I don't know what else to do. I don't want...
Because you started harassing Rachel Oates, and Rachel Oates literally is freaking out on Twitter. Like, I'm not saying Rachel Oates handled this situation perfectly. She didn't handle this situation perfectly. She definitely made mistakes. But is that what you're doing?
Sympathy. I want Essence of Tweet to be accountable for their actions and realize what they're doing. I need an apology. I'm lost and hurt and angry and sad and confused and terrified. EOT hurt me, and he's hurting others. Maybe not to the same extent, but I don't want to risk...
Okay, and at this point, I want to make it very clear. Hold on. At this point, Essence of Tweet or Essence of Thought was going by he. Okay, so Rachel Oates is not being transphobic at this point. Well, I don't think she ever was transphobic, but she's not being transphobic by saying he. Yeah, and Rachel has publicly acknowledged she didn't handle this well, too, yeah. So I just want to throw that out there. You've got to remember this is back in 2019. At this point, Ethel, I'm going to use the name now. Ethel is going still by he. So.
That. I can't cope with any more lies and name-calling from him, and I can't risk seeing it happen to other people. Not everyone should watch this video. It might be hard for many. I don't want people to know all this stuff. It's my private stuff. But I don't know how else to get him to leave me alone than to show EOT what he's doing to me. I feel so terrified and weak and out of options, and I don't know what else to do. I'm just drained.
On the 4th of September, popular YouTuber Rachel Oates called on her 100,000 subscribers to actively violate the block I put in place to prevent her from contacting me. By her own words, she did so with the explicit intention of making me read her tweets, to in turn force a reaction. As far as forcing a reaction, her plan worked. Less than an hour later, I had posted a thread to my own wall. In that thread, I detailed exactly why I take issue of Oates and shall continue to criticise her for defending an openly violent transphobe whilst simultaneously claiming to be an ally to the trans community. I was angry. Here was a person not only defending a man who seeks to strip me and my fellow trans people of our human rights, but she does so whilst...
Okay, you didn't read your tweets though, did you? Okay, let's read them, class. So to be absolutely clear, Rachel Oates is a transphobic bigot who actively attacks trans people who actively attacks trans people trying to hold Woodford, her personal friend, for calling for violence against trans people and arguing that they should be stripped of numerous human rights. Bro. That's what time this has been about. I said something ambiguous that some people genuinely took the wrong way, and to them I have been apologizing both publicly and in private. But as an opportunistic vulture, Oates can't help but to capitalize on that. She knows her transphobia is branded on her, so the best she and others can hope to achieve is to derail the actual discussion. She's now pretending like her being held to her actions, her active and demonstrable support for violence against the trans community, given with a fake smile, is a wrong the trans community should be apologizing to her for. Well, to that I say, get fucked, Oates. You actively working to defend people trying to make the world a shittier place for trans people. What in the heck? Bro, wait a minute. So this is after going back and forth with Rationality Rules, because isn't Rationality Rules Woodford? Who knows this? Hey Kay, isn't Rationality Rules Woodford? Yeah, it was the trans people in sports argument that Rationality Rules. Okay, so that happened on May 20th when he apologized for it. When Rationality Rules Debunk came out. Yeah, he's Woodford. Okay, thank you. So, Rachel came out with her tweets about the original video, talking about how, he made mistakes and, all the other stuff she said. Essence of Thought went back and forth with Woodford. And because Rachel Oates is still friend with Woodford, which, by the way, his apology video was actually pretty damn good. We watched it here. Now, all of a sudden, Rachel Oates is a transphobic bigot who actively attacks trans people. Essence of Thought, Ethel, just because somebody holds your feet to the fire, it does not mean that it is against all trans people. Guess what? Trans people can be assholes too. You are literally the embodiment of that. Holy crap. Okay. Well, to say that, get fucked, Rachel Oates. You're actively working to defend people trying to make the world a shittier place for trans people. You have trans blood on your hand. Bruh. Are you serious? You have trans blood on your hands? I will not apologize for pointing out your complete lack of humanity on the matter. You claim you hold people accountable for transphobia, but that's a lie. One, we're all used to that by now. Want to prove me wrong? Stop associating with people such as Woodard and Westbrook. Cut all ties with people promoting violence against trans people. Show us that you, Rachel Oates, have a damn conscience. Show us that you are capable of feeling for your fellow human outside your psychophantic inner circle. Show us that trans lives actually mean a damn to you, not as some bumper sticker, but something real that you live by. Until then, you are nothing more than anti-trans bigot. You yourself have set yourself to being. And I will not apologize for dragging you over this. Not whilst to fight your rights. You know what Ethel acts like? Do you know what Ethel acts like? Ethel acts like those crazy ass people on Twitter who don't have channels and they want to attack everybody. And they literally make shit up in their head. Okay. Hold on.
Force a reaction. As far as forcing a reaction, her plan worked. Less than an hour later, I had posted a thread to my own wall. In that thread, I detailed exactly why I take issue with Oates and shall continue to criticise her for defending an openly violent transphobe whilst simultaneously claiming to be an ally to the trans community. I was angry. Here was a person not only defending a man who seeks to strip me and my fellow trans people of our human rights, but she does so whilst pretending to care.
Okay, I want to point something out about this video. You notice how she had somebody read Rachel Oates' tweets, right? But did you notice how Ethel didn't read her own tweets? Did you notice that? Did you notice how Ethel did not read her own tweets?
In turn, force a reaction. As far as forcing a reaction, her plan worked. Less than an hour later, I had posted a thread to my own wall. In that thread, I detailed exactly why I take issue with Oates and shall continue to criticise her for defending an openly violent transphobe whilst simultaneously claiming to be an ally to the trans community. I was angry. Here was a person not only defending a man who seeks to strip me and my fellow trans people of our human rights, but she does so whilst pretending to care for us. When I posted my thread, I thought that was the end of it, that I'd dropped the mic and walked off. So when I found my Twitter feed being overrun by her many fans, hurling all sorts of abuse, including transphobic slurs at me for daring to criticise her, I was a little over.
You know, the sad thing is, okay, I'm gonna make this very, 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 very clear, okay? The sad thing is one, Rachel can't control her audience. If her audience wants to go and defend her, they will. Two, I would need to see those transphobic arguments or those transphobic things that were said to you. And I'm going to tell you why I would need to see those transphobic things said to you. Because in other videos, when you said things were transphobic in your comment section, they weren't actually some of them, not all, there were some transphobic things there, but some of them weren't transphobic at all. They were simply asking a question or trying to get some kind of clarification. Like what?
Overwhelmed. Someone claimed that I'd upset Oates with my response to her and told me that she hoped I was happy with what I'd apparently done. Pretty vague insinuations. Eventually I came to discover that Oates had gone on record defaming my character. She was claiming that I'd been harassing her to the point that she was afraid of me. She was also claiming to have taken to self-harm as a result. At that point, our Twitter fell silent as myself and Adita, unsure as to the veracity of these claims, contacted the Metropolitan Police to inform them that Oates was a potential risk to herself. The reason why is very simple. I know nothing about Oates outside of her defense of the violent transphobe, Stephen Woodford. I don't now and have never followed any of her social media pages or watched a single one of her videos.
Ethel is very manipulative on the way that they make their videos.
I don't know anything about her backstory, and I don't need to. Nothing justifies defending violent transphobes. Yet another thing I didn't know was whether she lived alone or with others. Therefore, we did all we could to ensure her safety. After which, we stopped responding, waiting 24 hours before posting our public statement on advice of the police. After contacting the Metropolitan Police, we contacted our local Indian police to detail the transphobic harassment, including death threats, that we started receiving from Oates' fanbase. You see,
that's not her fault. And what were the death threats? I'm going to be honest. I can't trust Ethel and what Ethel is saying because Ethel has already shown that you can look at Ethel and go boo, and all of a sudden you're transphobic and you're given a threat just by saying boo. Okay? So I can't trust what Ethel is saying.
Even though the fact that Oates thought to provoke a response whilst we had her blocked was publicly available, people bought into her dishonest claim that I'd been harassing her. Part of me understands that. We see someone crying, someone we formed a parasocial relationship with, and that impacts us. We feel angry, we feel the desire to reach out and to help them, to make the person responsible suffer. I get that. That is every day of my life when I read these statistics as to what's happening to trans people day after day. So I want to be clear. I'm not here to undermine your emotional response. I'm here to provide evidence that shows what actually took place and demonstrate how you're...
Yeah, but you never show evidence. You show circumstantial shit. You literally add in shit that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. You are so bad. I hate this term, but you are so bad faith with what you do. Oh my God.
Good nature has been manipulated by Oates and numerous other people. Starting with the facts that someone who is genuinely afraid and is doing everything they can to stop someone talking to them would not violate Twitter safety features to provoke a response from said person. Something one might expect such a person to do is block the individual they're afraid of. Yet Oates never once did that. As far as I'm aware, she didn't have me blocked until after myself and Adita posted our statement noting that the police were now involved.
Okay. What? Bro.
What's more is, this is pattern behaviour. When fellow YouTuber Rhetoric and Discourse was critical of her in a thread a couple weeks after all this had happened, she demanded that he stop, to which he responded by telling her to block him if she felt uncomfortable seeing what he was saying in a conversation with other people. Her response, she outright refused to do so, ordering him to stop criticising her once more. What this displays is that Rachel Oates not only rejects any responsibility for...
Okay, fun fact, people. The one thing you can learn about this Essence of Thought and Rachel Oates thing, this is the one thing you can learn from this, and I had to learn this. Sometimes, it's better to force yourself to get in the headspace that you just don't give a fuck anymore and walk away. You don't care what they say, let them say whatever the hell they want to say, and you just go about your day. And I think that's one of the mistakes that Rachel made, was responding to Essence of Thought. Because once Essence of Thought knew that she got into Rachel's head, she just kept going. That's sadistic. That is absolutely sadistic. The best thing to do is sometimes the best thing to do is just walk away, put your middle finger up in the air and go, say what you want. I don't care. I'm going to keep it pushing. That's like if Essence of Thought came out. Essence of Thought blocked me. Fun fact. Blocked me on her Essence of Tweet account is gone. And she blocked me on her regular Twitter. Essence of Thought, Ethel could be calling me transphobic right now on her Twitter. You know what? Sure, call me transphobic. I don't care. You can go right through my Twitter and find out that I'm not transphobic. You can go through my catalog and find out I'm not transphobic. I mean, dear God, I wouldn't even call Chris Chan a he. I said she when everybody else was calling Chris Chan he, but I wanted to respect the trans people that I do have in my life. I wanted to respect them. So please, go ahead, call me transphobic. I know better. I have proof that I'm not transphobic. I'm not scared of you calling me that. Nani, thank you for joining the Just Saying crew. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, so, I mean, you got to learn how to do that. And it's so hard to learn to do that. It really is. I literally had to get my ass whooped for me to finally learn that. When I first started on this platform, I was way too worried about what people think. And I was like that up until last year. So, I feel it, you know. I understand it. I do. I understand it. It's a hard concept to get a hold of. But once you get a hold of that concept, it is so freeing. It is so freeing. You know? So, thank you again, Nani. I really appreciate it. And I don't know why my damn alert isn't going off, because it hates me. Alright.
For handling her own comfort, she genuinely believes that if she wants you to stop criticising her, then it's the responsibility of her critics to say.
many people are in chat? Oh, God. It's telling me 5. Okay, something's wrong because I know there's more than 5 people in my chat. Wait, why is it saying that? It says 79 here, and we dropped down to 6? Now it's saying 2. YouTube, what is going on? Because I know there's more than 2 people watching this because there's more than 2 people typing in the chat. What is going on, YouTube? What? It says 2 for me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no. Okay. Well, I guess I'm now a 3 viewer Andy. Let's go. I got more likes than views. Let's go. Oh my God, that's crazy. We're all halves of a whole together, I guess. Yes. What's up, Xylie Gets Biased? Oh my God. Yeah, I fell off. I only have 4 people watching me. I fell off. Oh, it's on. Okay, Scentman. Let me tell you something. I have met Scentman, and Scentman, cool dude. He lets me in on the loop of things going on, and he's a damn good researcher on stuff. Scentman says Xylie Gets Real. It's all on YouTube streamers. Okay, so it's not just me then. Everybody's dealing with this. Okay. Yeah, the Xylie Ghost Squad. Hell yeah. Well, all right, here we go. Or we're going to keep going. I appreciate all 3 of you being in here. You got unsubscribe. Okay, listen. If you got unsubscribed, quickly, please re-subscribe. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Self-censor. Now, could you imagine if, to go back to my earlier example at the start, Kirk Cameron or Kent Hovind made the exact same sort of insistence? How long before that expectation is laughed out of there? So why then is it treated as reasonable with Rachel Oates? When she did everything she could to circumvent my block to provoke me, I had no reason to suspect that she would respond the way she did to some criticism. None at all. There was absolutely nothing about her.
Wait, she's not allowed to respond to criticism? Is that what you're saying? Ma'am, no!
Treated as reasonable with Rachel Oates. When she did everything she could to circumvent my block to provoke me, I had no reason to suspect that she would respond the way she did to some criticism. None at all. There was absolutely nothing about a person who, the only way I can describe it, was harassing me, which suggested a single response from me would drive them to self-harm. So whatever people seem to expect me to have done, that standard needs to be applied to all cases where we don't know how a person will react. Which is interesting considering that the people making the claim that my response to Oates' violation of my privacy to provoke me crosses some moral line have built their careers on the exact same thing. You can replace Oates with any other person, including religious bigots, and the expectation of the people criticizing them has to be the same as that expected of me when criticizing Rachel Oates. Because here's another fact that Oates seems to ignore. She's a public figure. She's a silver plaque YouTuber.
You're a public figure too. You make YouTube videos. Guess what? I don't care what your sub count is. If you make a YouTube video, you are allowed to get criticized. Now, whether that criticism is correct or not, that is based on the people watching it, whether they agree with it or not. But as soon as you become a content creator, honey, you are open up for everything. You don't get a shield of any kind.
Meaning she has over 100,000 subscribers compared to my 30,000. She is in the public eye. She has a large platform, and what she does with that platform is fair game as far as criticism goes. As for what my supposed harassment entailed, how about we take a quick look? I responded to Oates' public tweets twice, mentioned her in passing in a single video, and created a Facebook post back in May.
I see the sewer mouth just can't stop spewing. He's actively lied on multiple occasions in his updated video, claiming specific journals to validate his position on aspects of oh my god.
Oates' public tweets twice, mentioned her in passing in a single video, and created a Facebook post back in May.
I feel I should clarify some things on Rachel Oates since people keep asking me things. Though this will be my final post, well, obviously it wasn't because you did that in September 4th. She was incredibly hostile to trans people who suggested that Woodford is responsible for the content he puts out. How is she? Her lack of knowledge on the subject didn't seem... You know what? I feel like Essence of Thought and Keffels are a lot alike. They want to be the trans person's or the trans people spokesperson. They treat trans people like they are a monolith. And that simply just is not the case. That's simply not the case. Trans people are not a monolith. They do not all hold the same political ideology. They don't have the same thoughts and feelings about different situations in the world. They do not run, they don't all run in the same circles of people. You can't be the spokesperson. Yeah, exactly, Werewolf. Bro, we're just people, man. Exactly, you're people. And by being people, that comes with good and bad. You're going to have... It's like the bigots out there who say that all trans people are pedos. Well, that's obviously wrong. When you have a group of people, you are going to have a group of people, and some people are good in it, some people are bad in it, some people want to do good in the world, some people want to do bad in the world. It's the same thing for straight people. That's like saying all white people are bad. It's not the case. That's like saying all black people are bad. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. So you can't sit here and act like you're the spokesperson for all trans people. Now, if you have particular problems, great, go for it. That's fine. But you can't get mad and call people to other trans women tokens just because they stick up for the very same people you don't like. They have that right to have that thought process. Yes, stereotypes are dangerous and toxic. Yes. Absolutely.
Now, the tweets I responded to were part of a thread in which she shared confident...
Woodford continues to advocate for violence against trans people this very day. Oates remains supportive of him. Where did he call for violence? I didn't see him call for violence. This list was created by a trans person for other trans people to keep safe. To what he did wrong, I know how hard he's working to put things right. Supporting Steve now. Okay, so that was the tweets on May 14th. Hold on, I got a message. Alright. But I knew he never intended to cause harm and definitely didn't expect certain people to use his video to try to push harmful agendas. I, like so many other creators on that list, have consistently shown our support for the trans community, so it's not a choice between... So, yeah, Woodford explained that. Rationality Rules explained that in his video, that because of how he put his video together and who he used as examples in his video, that people that he would be against used his video to make their points, and it wasn't intended to do that. He explained that. Like,
material taken from a mental health support group, a group set up by some of the victims of Stephen Woodford's transphobia. Back then, it was a safe place for people who had suffered as a result of Woodford's actions to discuss their problems and gain support. We had multiple discussions detailing how the transphobic, racist, homophobic, and ableist abuse Woodford had emboldened in his audience had impacted things such as sleep. There were also conversations discussing suicide. Oates published materials from this private group seeking to cast Woodford's victims as the real bad guys for daring to try and take care of one another, and she was never held responsible for violating basic ethics when it comes to mental health support. None of the people claiming to be advocates for mental health all of a sudden said a word back then. As for my Facebook post, it was me detailing why I had no intention of responding to her any further at that time. I had to create the post after Rachel and her friends attempted to prolong personal drama, not relevant to the actual issue at hand, which was the human rights of trans people. By that point, I'd also blocked her. Something to keep in mind in relation to her claims that she was the one who walked away from the conversation back in May. That is demonstrably false, and as we can all see, I have the receipts to prove it. I then was...
What receipts do you have? What, this? How are these receipts? Because it seems like to me, you had her blocked, but yet you were still... That was May 28th. You said you had her blocked. The only reason why I mentioned her in the video was the fact since I blocked her, various people had charged me with censoring her, and I feel like doing that may have given her too much. She seems to be trying to position herself in the same poor white cis woman, oh my God, that Woodford did with Selena Soleil in his original video. That's why I'm maintaining the block, and that's why I will continue to refuse to deal with Oates.
Back in May. That is demonstrably false, and as we can all see, I have the receipts to prove it. I then responded twice more to her public tweets in September before blocking her again after growing tired of dealing with her defenders.
So you unblocked her, talked some shit, and then reblocked her. You're a pussy. I mean, end of. Did she even respond back to you? Yeah, I know it is Derby Duck.
I came across her thread defending Woodford when a couple of the people I followed were criticising Oates' double standard and seeing the danger inherent with theists who present as friendly faces whilst calling for the removal of LGBT+ rights, but failing to see the issue with Woodford doing the exact same thing. This whole idea of making bigotry palatable. Finally, we come to the thread I made in response to her calling upon her fans to violate my block in hopes of forcing a response from me. If we include that provoked response, that means I've contacted Oates or mentioned her in any way in my work, a total of 7 times, spanning 5 months. For comparison, YouTuber Mr. Atheist has created more than 30 videos responding to Girl Defined. And I'm not on about mentioning her in passing or responding to tweets. I'm on about videos which focus on and even mention her in the title. Yet apparently, that's not harassment, whilst my 4 response tweets, a passing video mention, a single Facebook post, and a provoked response are. I do wonder if Girl Defined were to...
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, God. Essence of Thought, I can't find your channel. Oh, my God. So many people are like, oh. Oh, Omegon did a video a month ago about Essence of Thought Twitter cope. Okay, let's save that to a playlist. We'll save it here. Thank you very much. All right. Hold on. I'm trying to find the channel. Pumpkin, stop. Oh my God, I can't. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, granted, the video we're watching right now is from 2019. You were making videos without counting the last one. All right? Without counting the last one, you were still making videos about Rachel Oates up to 5 months ago. Pumpkin, stop it. And you started in 2019. You got 13 videos about rationality rules, which I can't, I mean, I got 15 on Mr. Girl. Okay. All right.
You come up with a video like Oates had, a reminder that Oates had given me no reason to suspect my criticism would have that reaction. Would Mr. Atheist receive the same sort of threats and abuse I have been receiving from all those people who claim to stand with Rachel Oates? I guess we'll never know. What we do know is that responding to a public figure 7 times.
Leah, I watched y'all's podcast today. Y'all should go check out Low Gals. It's on the channel called Still Connected. There's actually several podcasts on there, but the queens of that channel is the Low Gals. And it's a really good podcast. I listen to every one that comes up. Hold on. Pumpkin's being bad. Pumpkin, stop it. Bro, stop. Stop it. God, I'm shipping her off. Yeah, the episode was great. But it was a really good episode. You girls did good. And it was nice to hear Matt on there. Y'all had a really good back and forth with Matt on there. It was really good. Veronica, do you really want Pumpkin to keep doing it? Because if Pumpkin keeps doing it, that means I have to get off of here. Okay, hold on one second. I gotta go fight Pumpkin. Hold on. Ma'am. No, ma'am. This is not what we are doing today. Stop it. Go ahead and run off. I don't care. I ain't worried about you. She's going to go run to the kitchen, which is right beside the room I'm in. She's going to go run to the kitchen, lay down, facing me, and then roll on her back to show her belly. She knows she's doing wrong. Yeah, you. I'm talking about you.
Over 5 months does not constitute harassment. Harassment would be something like violating a block someone has put in place to make sure they saw your messages. That's even though they may
Wait, violating a block? Wait a minute. Wait.
You do know is that responding to a public figure 7 times over 5 months does not constitute harassment. Harassment would be something like violating a block someone has put in place to make sure they saw your messages. That's even though they made very clear that they're not interested by blocking you.
So am I technically harassing you because of the videos I made or the live streams I've done? Am I technically harassing you? Am I violating a block? Don't make me have to get one of those sock accounts everybody talks about. Because I don't have one. I only have my one Twitter account. Lord have mercy.
Now the last aspect I'd like to discuss in this section is pretty dark. But when the prospect of self-harm enters the picture, it's something that needs to be covered. I don't know what happened on the 4th of September. All I have to work with is a video in which a crying woman raised her arm to show what appears to be blood on it. Everything beyond that is pure speculation. I don't
Yeah, that's when Rachel Oates made that video where she cut herself. Yeah.
know what she was thinking at the time. I merely wrote a public response to her calling on her fans to violate my block of her. Yet she said she became so distraught by that she cut herself before turning on a camera in which she told me to look at what I'd made her do. This video was then rendered, uploaded, given a title and description, and then posted as part of a thread in which she once again told people to send it to me, all within 4 hours of my response. Fact is, this isn't the first time self-harm has been discussed in relation to the conversation. 2 days earlier, on the 2nd of September, Oates has stated, quote,
But now all they want to do is cause outrage. They're systematically trying to ruin careers, and they're actively manipulating their audience, and worst of all, in my opinion, they're using self-harm as a shield to excuse crappy behavior, which minimizes how difficult the struggle is, and how harmful it can be for the rest of us. Therefore, screw him, and anything he says about me.
And you know what? She should have left it at that.
Again, the whole screw him and anything he says about me doesn't exactly give the impression that she was being traumatized by my criticism. In the 48 hours before she...
What? What? Oh my god, bro. Wednesday, I don't blame you. The only way I can handle watching these is with y'all. I told you I was going to make y'all suffer with me. Yes, Mater. What a psycho. 100%.
She claimed to be terrified of what I was saying. Oates was actually stating that she didn't give a damn and violating my block of her to
Oh my god. Stop being... I was about to get ableist there for a moment. Stop. Just stop. Ethel, you are so bad faith. You are so bad faith. Oh my god, you are so bad faith.
response. But what's she on about in regards to me using self-harm as a shield? Well, she's talking about the facts I very clearly stated. Self-harm was not on the table for me. Now, if that confuses you, you're not alone. I was responding to one of Oates' close friends, namely American YouTuber Thomas Westbrook, more commonly known as Holy Kool-Aid. Westbrook had defended a self-identified transphobe's month-long abuse of me as part of some twisted job interview. I should declare that Westbrook had received hundreds of dollars in donations from this person, a fact Westbrook becomes very aggressive about when confronted with. Again, I noted right off the bat that self-harm was not on the table for me. However, comes interview. I should declare that Westbrook had received
at least 375 across 15 months. You're pocket watching people? Are you literally pocket watching people? What? Oh my god. Oh my god.
hundreds of dollars in donations from this person, a fact Westbrook becomes very aggressive about when confronted with. Again, I noted right off the bat that self-harm was not on the table for me. However, neither Westbrook nor the victim in question knew this at the time. All they did know was that I belonged to a demographic with high rates of attempted suicide. This is not me telling them that if they continue to abuse me, I will commit suicide. It was me telling them that if they continue to do this with other trans people, that is a very likely result. Oh, I don't know. How about this, Westbrook? As a member of a marginalized community with high levels of attempted suicide, I did not sign up to be abused. All it takes is one bigot too many and it's lights out. Permanently. Thankfully.
Okay, but wait a minute, Ethel. You take it where people can't say anything back to you. If anybody says anything back to you, it's automatically abuse. Like, people aren't allowed to stick up for themselves. Who the fuck are you to tell somebody they can't stick up for themselves? Who are you to say that? Like, what?
Self-harm hasn't been in my books for a long fucking time. I tend to respond to things that make me feel powerless and wronged with incredible amounts of aggression, which is not nice, but it's...
And I love the fact how you make yourself out to be a victim and abused and traumatized, and, you know, you and other trans people have a high rate of suicides, which, you know, we all know about that, you know, in reality, you know, but you can use all that, but you could be so cold and callous to what Rachel Oates did in her video. It goes to show you don't care about anybody else but yourself. You don't give a damn about anybody else but yourself. The way that you pity farm your videos, you can tell you are just about yourself. You don't give a damn about anybody else. All you give a shit is poor Ethel. That's all you give a shit about. How was Ethel hurt by this today? Oh my God, Ethel broke her foot. That's why Evangelina is so evil. You are such... Oh my God, you're disgusting.
preferable to where the other road leads. I'm still recovering from a triple infection because my immune system has been shot to pieces through the constant stress I've been experiencing. But the fact remains, you didn't know any of this. Friedel didn't know any of this. All you did know is that I am a member of a marginalized community with high levels of attempted suicide, already suffering extortionate levels of transphobic abuse. So you decide to add more. Well, what gave either of you that right? You're fucking lucky I respond to shit like I do. Because if I'd gone the other way, well, I guess my absence would have been much more convenient for yourself and your crew. If I really was going to try and hide behind self-harm as Oates claims I was, since she has repeated this claim in her official statement, the last thing I would do is tell my abusers that self-harm was not on the table for me. So the level of...
Wait. Okay, comment. You're weaponizing self-harm. No, screw you. You're disgusting to even say that. I didn't hurt myself or anyone else. I hurt myself because it was the only way I knew how to cope. And when Essence of Thought and his wife say it, they're disgusting hypocrites. All it takes is one bigot too many, and it lights out permanently. Thankfully, self-harm hasn't mean in my books for a long fucking time is weaponizing self-harm. A public breakdown begging someone to leave me alone and stop lying about me is not weaponizing self-harm. Unlike EOT, I never once threatened to hurt myself if other people did something. I already hurt myself many times over, and I just needed them to stop already and stop seeing me as some abstract villain and start realizing what they're doing to me. I was desperate and broken and out of options. I needed them to see the consequences of their actions. I needed them to see I was human. Oh, honey, that just wasn't the way to go. Any person who thinks I wanted to show that freak vulnerable side of myself on camera is delusional. Any person who thinks I hurt myself or anyone else is disgusting. Any person who thinks this is the first time this has happened as a direct consequence of EOT and their friends' lies about me is naive. And then Ethel says, yes, she even quoted the bit actively disproving her assertion. Ethel, you're gross. You're gross.
Statement, the last thing I would do is tell my abusers that self-harm was not on the table for me. So the level of gaslighting Oates has to resort to in order to change what I actually said, and she even quoted, seems to suggest that this tweet and her subsequent statement shows more about her and how she sees self-harm than it does me. There's her projection, conscious or subconscious, on what she did. So in closing this section, did I harass Rachel Oates? No. I criticised a public figure for repeatedly defending the violent transphobe, Stephen Woodford. I have no knowledge about her apparent history of self-harm or extreme reactions, my only connection with her being her defense of Stephen Woodford, and that alone. She not only failed to use the block feature, but actually went so far as to violate.
I don't know if I said highest rate, but I know it's high. Okay, Bacon? Thank you. And I don't know the specifics, so I don't know if, I know men also have a high rate of that also. Okay, so, but I don't know the actual, like, technicalities or the percentage, but I do know the rates are high. So, thank you, Bacon, ? Axis for 5. Ethel won't self-harm, but she'll blame every sickness or issue she has on other people stressing her out by abusing her or being transphobic. Yes. Yes to the last part. Yeah, I know there's a high rate werewolf. I agree. There is a high rate.
Twitter's terms of service to bypass my block of her to provoke a response. As a public figure, Oates does not have the right to support an openly violent transphobe who remains unapologetic about said stance whilst declaring herself an ally to trans people. Only to use false accusations of harassment to silence whichever trans person is critical of this hypocrisy. And if you want to claim otherwise, that is a standard you have to apply to all YouTubers, including Oates herself. When you go out of your way to circumvent someone's block of you and send them messages they clearly demonstrated that they do not want to receive by blocking you, you can't easily expect that to end well and blame the other person when it doesn't. She can say whatever the hell she liked about me whilst I had her blocked. I don't believe I have this magical right to silence my critics for their criticism.
No, I think you do think you have a magical right to do it because you farm the shit out of them for your videos. You farm the shit out of them on your videos. No, I think you actually do have that right. Or you feel like you have that right. Mix for 2. Would you agree that Ethel is a... I don't know what any of that means, Mix. But thank you for the 2. I appreciate it.
There's a YouTuber out there, we'll call him Rotten Peach. I've had Rotten Peach blocked for years due to his dishonest approach to my content. Yet throughout all of this, he's been creating videos lying about both myself and the science to try and get at me. Now, do I refer to that as harassment? Do I call for his channel to be flagged since he continues to talk about me, even though I have him blocked? No, because that's unreasonable. Even at 30,000 subscribers, I'm still a public figure who puts out public...
I know what Riz is. I don't know what the poo keg is. Thank you. I know what Riz is.
Content. What I do count as harassment is him listing reasons as to why he thinks I'm not really transgender, because there's absolutely no point to that outside of seeking to hurt me. Just so you know, this person is one of the many people Rachel Oates has personally thanked for how they rushed to her assistance when she grew tired of being held accountable for her continued actions. Oates, the self-declared trans ally, accepted the support...
So what are you doing? Okay, wait a minute. Let's jump to 2024. Essence of Thought. What are you doing since you are being called to be held accountable by saying that Bangelina plagiarized you, and since Courtney Orchard has come out. What have you done, Ethel? Oh, I know. You went around blocking people and you got rid of your Essence of Tweet Twitter because we can't go back and get those tweets. But guess what we do have? We have screenshots. We have screenshots of those tweets. And then, my God, you gave us those screenshots in your own videos. You think I won't rip one from your video? I'll give you credit for it. Don't worry. I'll put Essence of Thought right there in the corner so everybody can see it, you know? You think, you don't think that they don't probably already have your Twitter on Wayback Machine? Like, what are you doing? It looks like to me you're running from criticism. When I go type Essence of Thought, you know what? Just in case you're watching this, Ethel. Just in case. I want to show y'all something. All right, let's go home. Let's go home. All right. We're at the home page, right? Man. Where's the channel? Where's the channel at Essence of Thought? Oh, there we go. We finally got it. Boom. We got to go through how many videos? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 videos before we get to one video that has nothing to do with anything? Oh, and there's another one. There's you. Chud Logic. Jade. Chud Logic. Diesel. Food Shops. I mean, my God, Essence. You're getting buried. You're literally getting buried. And what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's check on her channel and see what she's doing. Let's check on her channel and see what she's doing. I hate the way your homepage is set up. New flag sparks rage. That's it. That's it. And you did, there was 2 weeks between that video. Where have you been? Where have you been? What are you doing? Are you going to talk about how Evangelina didn't actually plagiarize you? Are you going to do that? Are you going to talk about how Courtney said that those screenshots were already on Kiwi Farms and Tumblr? Are you going to do that? Where are you at, Ethel? You demanded out of Rachel in 2019, so where are you in 2024? Where are you at? Where you at, girl?
Someone who very openly undermines the identities of trans people as a means of attack. Now, I say continued actions for one very important reason. As much as Oates claims to have removed herself from the conversation, the only reason I responded to her in September was because I found someone I did follow, criticizing her continued defense of violent transphobe, Stephen Woodford. My criticism was not unprovoked, it was not out of the blue. It was brought about by her continued actions in undermining the anguish her friend had inflicted and seeks to continue to inflict on the trans community. Had she not done that, had she just not defended a violent transphobe, well, we wouldn't be here.
You know what? Honestly, Ethel's the kind of person you just need to walk away from. Tell them to fuck off and walk away. And they're going to keep talking about you and keep talking about you until they find a new target. And then once they find the new target, you're mostly in the clear. Unless you do something that triggers them again, which most likely you will do. Mix for 5. Ethel uses Rachel's face in all her thumbnails because her own face is, and she thinks it'll get more clicks to show Rachel's good looking face. I know that's right, Mix. Thank you for the 5.
What is violence? Oh, well, that's rather easy. That's when a person physically assaults another person, isn't it? Well, say we have a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now, Mr. Smith is a little different. He's a stay-at-home father, looking after 3 children whilst Mrs. Smith goes off to work. Over time, however, Mrs. Smith starts doing something. She starts withholding access to the family finances from Mr. Smith, not allowing him to purchase anything, not even necessities like food, bathroom supplies, and cleaning products without her permission. Eventually, this grows to the point that Mrs. Smith is limiting who Mrs. Smith can go out and see, effectively severing their connection to family and friends. If Mr. Smith ever raises an issue with the way that Mrs. Smith's treatment is depriving not just him, but the rest of the family their basic needs, Mrs. Smith threatens him with even more severe financial restrictions.
What the fuck does this have to do with Rachel Oates? You were talking about 2 fictional characters and some shit.
What I'm describing is known as economic violence, a very real and legally recognized form of violence seen in both industrial and domestic settings.
What the hell does economic violence have to do with this? Nightmare, I need a drink too. This bitch is gonna make me an alcoholic.
You see, violence is defined as the following by the World Health Organization. Quote, the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself, another person, or against a group or community.
Well, actually, it's the intentional use of physical force or power threatened or actually against oneself, another person, or against a group or community that either results in or has high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, physical harm, psychological harm, and maldevelopment or deprivation. As I push my glasses up and read it like a fucking nerd.
That either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. End quote. Now, with economic violence and domestic abuse, that is the usage of economic power one partner has over the other to control them, something which harms them through stripping them of autonomy and depriving them of necessities. But economic power is not the only form of power. Another form of power is legislative power. Let's talk abortion access. When the Christian right seeks to outlaw abortion...
Oh my God. Oh, no, I can't. Nope. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. No.
Transphobe. Now, by the first time I came into contact with Oates in May, that was already becoming clear. But by the time I came across her tweets defending him in September, he had created his corrected video in which he just double...
Hold on. Pumpkin, I don't know what you are on tonight, but I swear to God. Ma'am, stop digging in the box. Stop it. Stop. Be good. Oh my God. Oh my God. If she don't stop, you know what? I'm gonna adopt her out. She's doing it again. Somebody's gonna take her.
down as calls to violence. That's why there was a difference in my tone when I responded to Oates in September when compared to May. She was claiming that Woodford, in the 6 months he'd had to change his perspective, just hadn't been given enough time. I mean, people outright ignore the facts that from the posting of my first video in April up to his ACA video in May, I had given him a wide berth to put right the damage he was causing the trans community. And yet he did nothing. Only when I brought back the heat after...
No, you can't say he didn't do anything. That video, he explained where he changed his thought process. Yes, Pumpkin is committing violence against me right now, literally.
He'd been criticised by the ACA, after he thought he might actually lose money because of his actions, did he start doing what I told him he should have been doing from the very beginning. Sadly, that was short-lived as the ACA president overruled the ACA board and retracted the board statement shortly before Woodford's personal friend, Thomas Westbrook, led a McCarthy-style coup of the ACA board, violating charity bylaw to elect some of Woodford's personal friends to said board. Woodford's friends, the many who have rushed forward to partake in Oates' defamation of my character, also showed him that there would be no accountability for his actions, that they'd continue to defend him no matter how much he harmed the trans community. So he lost even the selfish incentive to do the right thing, instead doubling down on the violent transphobia which has been very profitable for him. Not so
How is he violent? Ethel, you are, oh my God, you stretch shit so fucking far. Oh my God.
much for everyone trying to actually do the right thing. Now, his friends claim that they're the ones who actually got him to start fixing things. But here's the problem with that narrative. Why then did it stop? You lot haven't stopped defending Woodford, but the moment the ACA buckled and you lot rushed forward to defend him, the attempts to pretend like he had changed stopped altogether. What you claim and what we observe are two very different things. So now that we observe are two very different things.
Why is there so much hypocrisy in the secular community? Because you're all crazy. That's why. You're all crazy. You're all fucking crazy.
So now that we've gone over the facts that he claims that I harassed Rachel Oates lack all merit and exactly what I mean by violent transphobia, this opens up more questions about the secular community and why so many large names responded the way they did. Why did they ignore the fact that I had Oates blocked? Why did they ignore the fact that she violated that block to provoke my response? Sadly, there's a great deal of hypocrisy in the secular community. Right off the bat, we have the difference in how I was treated versus how Woodford was. Woodford was called out immediately by numerous trans people as having caused them and the trans community in general a lot of harm. Yet many of the people associated with Woodford did nothing for months. Meanwhile, the moment Oates set out to defame my character, they couldn't mobilize fast enough. Perhaps the best
Like you weren't defaming her character with that first video? What? What? Those tweets saying that she's a transphobic bigot wasn't defaming her? Where has Rachel Oates been a transphobic bigot? Where? I need to know. Where? Ye Old Loser says, I feel like all this could have been said in a lot less words. You know what? That right there, loser, let me tell you something. That is every single Essence of Thought video. It's a lot of filler words, a lot of filler sentences, where she can literally could have said what she needed to say in half the time. But she sprinkles in she doesn't even sprinkle in. She pours in a lot of bullshit in her videos.
Example of all of this is Mr. Atheist, who hadn't said shit to try and help the trans community, becoming rather aggressive when this fact and subsequent tone policing of trans voices was brought into question. But when Oates put out false accusations of harassment, he rushed out 3 Warfare videos on events prior, saying little to nothing of any actual value, giving Woodford a minor slap on the wrist for his continued calls to violence against the trans community, just so he could present his 4th and final video as being remotely balanced. And this is a common theme. A lot of the people who rushed to Oates and supported her in her act of defamation claim to support the trans community. Yet when one of those trans people criticizes a member of their little clique, they all set out to try and silence that critic. Because, let's be honest, this isn't the first time this has happened to me. Back in May, another one of Oates' close and personal friends, Telltale Atheist, began publicly claiming that I'd instigated violence at the Faithless Forum 2019 through my criticism of Stephen Woodford. For those who don't know, the Faithless Forum is a small conference founded by a couple of YouTubers belonging to the same clique as Oates. One of the founders and primary organizers is Thomas Westbrook, the man who tried to defend a person who declared themselves more than simply transphobic because they paid him hundreds of dollars. Westbrook also led the ACA coup. Another one of the official organizers was Telltale Atheist. So Telltale went around claiming that I'd instigated violence at the Faithless Forum. He even went so far as to compare the level of violence which took place with the burning down of Kingdom Halls, claiming that everything had been caught on camera. Of course, the footage...
Correcting people when they lie about a trans person, dividing the secular community by defending trans rights is morally equivalent to burning down buildings. Telltale. Trans lie. Okay, let's just start here. Condemn the type of bad behavior to which I'm referring to. It's that simple. Can you do that? I condemn burning down Kingdom Halls. Your turn. What? An essence of thought, why are you adding your own self in your tweet? Although Essence of Tweet tried to start shit in our conference, I'm not super happy about that, is it? She's literally taking what people say.
level of violence which took place with...
Oh my God. I think I just figured out Ethel's problem. Ethel doesn't understand nuance. Ethel doesn't understand nuance. Ethel literally takes people's words literally. Oh my God.
the burning down of Kingdom Halls, claiming that everything had been caught on camera. Of course, the footage never surfaced and no other people came forward to support his accusation.
I believe she is autistic. I believe she said she was autistic. And that actually explains a lot, to be honest. Not memeing, not making a joke of it. I'm being serious. That actually explains a lot.
So, how was Telltale held accountable by the rest of the Faithless Forum organizers? What was done about his clear criminal defamation? Nothing, of course. He was given a free pass by Westbrook and the others. He didn't even offer me a genuine apology. He said sorry, only to explicitly state that he'd done so, not because he was sorry, but to move the conversation away from his defamation in the same thread. And still they were silent, because this was a failed attempt to stop my criticism of the transphobic elements in a...
Yeah, Nicole, I didn't think you were trying to diagnose her, because I believe Ethel did say she was autistic. Yeah, I thought she said she was autistic. Yeah. And when I said that it makes sense to me, I just want to make it very clear. I wasn't memeing. I wasn't being an asshole. I legit mean what I say. It actually makes sense because Ethel doesn't understand nuance. And if you type out something or say something, she's going to take it for exactly what you're saying, not the nuance behind what you're saying. Like, Ethel doesn't read between the lines very well. You know what I mean? Ethel doesn't read between the lines very well. Not really. Ethel just read too much into his comments. He called her out for how she treated Rachel, which he wasn't the only one. Yeah, but she doesn't. But with that particular comment about the hall, she was taking that as like literal. Yeah, they also take things literally. Exactly. That's what I mean. But Ethel doesn't understand nuance. Ethel doesn't know how to read between the lines. Yeah.
Sector community. One of many. Only the day before Oates set out to defame me, the exact same thing happened again. This time, instead of calls to violence, I'd apparently made calls to suicide. In responding to Lizzie Lang, one of Woodford's earliest defenders, I told her to leave Woodford's Church of Transphobia. From the context of the tweet itself and the tweets prior, that was pretty obvious. Now, when I went to sleep, I didn't know there was an issue. Then, overnight, my feed suddenly blew up. Yet, whilst I was asleep, people were already pointing out the clear context of the line taken to mean suicide and how it was obviously a reference to leaving the Church of Transphobia. No input required on my part due to how obvious it was. When I woke up on the 3rd of September, it took me a while to gather what had happened. I posted a clarification thread, noting the context of the word and how some people were clearly looking to use it to defame me. However, when
I find it funny where Ethel seems to think that everybody is trying to defame her and everybody is against her, but she can go around and saying whatever the fuck she wants to say, and that irritates the shit out of me. Ethel's combination of neurodivergence and stubbornness is a match made in hell. True, best. Very true.
I discovered that there were some people who seemed to have been genuinely hurt by my words, I apologized for the harm my words had caused and promised to do better in the future. And by the end of the day, the whole thing had pretty much...
And yet you haven't. And yet you haven't. This was back in 2019 when this video was made. So you definitely took that back, didn't you?
much died down. I survived another attempt by the clique Oates is part of to defame me. Then the 4th happened, and all of a sudden, a tweet telling Lizzie Lang to leave Woodford's Church of Transphobia magically transformed into a tweet telling Rachel Oates to commit suicide. And no, that's not a joke. People genuinely believe that tweet to Lizzie Lang was the tweet that pushed Rachel Oates to self-harm. Now, I don't know where they got this idea from, but that's a symptom of just how uncritical some people are being when it comes to accepting the word of people trying to defame me. So why is this happening? Why do we have a group of largely true secularists uniting to sink a much smaller channel?
There we go. That's the problem. There we go. We finally hit 35 minutes in. We finally hit what the real problem is.
Trying to defame me. So why is this happening? Why do we have a group of largely true secularists uniting to sink a much smaller channel?
There we go. There's the problem. Why do we have a bunch of large YouTube secularists, whatever, uniting to sink a much smaller channel? There's the problem. Ethel was not smaller than them back then? Is that what you're saying? They were around the same channel size. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you got... Listen, you can make a video about me, and more than likely I won't respond unless I have a personal investment to respond. But just know, you could have 5 subscribers. And if you made a video about me, I have every right to respond to that, no matter how small you are. Now, will I respond to it? That's the question, depending on who it is. Depending on if I felt like I needed to respond to it or not. You know?
Well, it seems to be because they view me as a threat. I'm not someone who can ever be bought or bullied. I refuse to be their trans token, and I refuse to be silenced. I'm someone who will call them out on their transphobic shit when I see it. I am to them a loose cannon, a secular watchdog. They also can't deal with my arguments. That much has been made very transparent these past few months.
Because you argue in circles and you don't let anybody grow and learn. That's why. You don't allow people to grow and learn. Guess what? People make mistakes. People say things that either they didn't mean or they didn't know any better. Okay? And people, you have to allow people to grow and learn. You know, like I'll go into, for example, I'll go into the now recording Discord, you know, and go hang out with people in there. And there's a couple of young people that go in there and they say some crazy shit out of their mouth. And normally, like, I'll say something about it, but not, like, get on them, but I'll say something about it. But I usually chalk it up to they're young. When you're young, you say a lot of stupid shit. And I'm hoping one day they grow. Great example. I can give you a great example. Everybody in this chat probably knows who Nicholas DeOrio is. Okay? Listen to Nicholas DeOrio now in a live stream versus Nicholas DeOrio back in 2019. There's a big difference between him back in 2019 and him now. There's a really big difference. And that's called age. You can tell that he grew up. I mean, he's still a little edgy boy, and he's still, I mean, granted, he has a show called URR, okay? The ultimate R-word review, okay? But he doesn't say the sly shit out of his mouth like he used to. Yeah, on how he spoke about things, yeah. He grew up. That's a perfect example right there. You know? And like me and Willie Mack have talked about this several times that, you know, somebody in their early 20s, I expect them to say stupid shit out their mouth. I do. I absolutely expect them to say stupid shit out their mouth. I expect them to be edgy. Listen, I'm glad I wasn't, well, YouTube wasn't around when I was in my 20s, but if it was, I'm glad I wasn't on it. I wouldn't have a channel right now with the shit that used to come out of my mouth. Yeah, Nick is great. He's cool, dude. But that's what youngins do, though. You know? Mix, I will restore the honor of the Spurgs. Go ahead, Mix. Damn right. But I mean, I said and did stupid shit in my early 20s, so I totally expected for somebody else to do the same. You got to give people the room to grow. You know? Jay says, Ethel feeds off her own anger. She just wants to be mad about something. Jay Bird, I'm going to be honest. I totally agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that, Jay Bird. I think that's also part of the problem. I think she feels like she needs to be angry all the time. And I know that feeling. When I used to be heavily on Twitter, back in my T-channel days, it was your job to be outraged every day. And that got so tiring. Oh my God, it got so tiring. Hence the reason why we left. You know? So
what are they left with? Well, they can seek to destroy any and all credibility associated with the channel's name. And that seems to be the strategy they're taking. Ocean went so far as to use the transphobic abuse myself and Adita were receiving as a means of extortion, laying out plainly that I was to never supply the evidence of what actually took place once...
Whoa! Wait, what? Did you see Steve's video? He literally told people not to resort to violence, encouraged people to move on. He said it's time to move past the drama, rhetoric, and vitriol, including a comment by someone who's going against that Steve said pinning it to Steve isn't fair. I haven't watched it. I try to stay away from the subject. I'm glad Steve said that, but it doesn't disappear the comments. Let's just move on. We all don't have to move on holding hands, but let's move on before someone else is hurt. That's all I'm trying to say here. I agree. It was way past time to move on. I wish EOT would. They continue to aggressively go after everyone in the community. Do you know how many lies about me they included in their attack on me? It was horrific. I never lashed back. They're aggressive playing the victim card. Oh my God. That's a blast from the past. They are an aggressor playing the victim card. Isn't that what Essence of Thought did with Angelina? That's exactly what Essence of Thought said. Hold on, I gotta write this timestamp down, because guess what? Essence of Thought, I'm stealing this from your video. FYI. What's the timestamp on this? 3642. 3642. And Westbrook Street. All right. Ceasefires are awesome, but can we get clarification from EOT that we're not getting another drama video to stir the pot, because this doesn't look like a wanting a ceasefire. So wait a minute.
With the channel's name. And that seems to be the strategy they're taking. Ocean went so far as to use the transphobic abuse myself and Adita were receiving as a means of extortion.
As a means of extortion? Now, Ethel, I know back in 2019, you weren't saying that was a means of extortion. When in 2024, you messaged Evangelina wanting 30% of her Patreon, the video AdSense, and 30% of her HelloFresh sponsorship. That was extortion. This person is simply asking if you are making a video. Wow. Oh, Ethel. Oh, Ethel. Oh, baby girl. Oh, my God. Ma'am. Whew.
Laying out plainly that I was to never supply the evidence of what actually took place once the police had done their work, preventing the truth from ever being heard. Ocean seemed to be hoping to secure a situation in which only the defamers were allowed to speak. Not that surprising, considering how easy it was to prove him wrong on many of his claims a couple of days before this. He made several claims I refuted with screenshots, and
As for apology, I apologize to those I felt had genuinely been hurt and weren't simply looking for an out to halt my criticism over their harmful actions. I won't say sorry when I don't genuinely mean it with Woodford or Telltale. Doing so removes all value from the word. Right, but people went with the grammatically correct interpretation, the audacity. Would have been fine if EOT had apologized, but that's not quite what happened. Instead, they belittled people over reading the sentence straightforwardly and delayed on clarifying. He doesn't realize I live in India and that nobody had claimed it was an issue in the hours between me posting it and going to sleep. I posted my clarification at 10:33 a.m. India Standard Time, little less than an hour after waking up. What?
not that surprising considering how easy it was to prove him wrong on many of his claims a couple of days before this. He made several claims I refuted with screenshots, and I didn't hear a word from him. No apology, not even when I tagged him once again. But he was very quick to demand I never defend myself from Oates' defamation. But let's just consider what actually happened here. I criticised Oates for defending a violent transphobe, in effect defending myself and all other trans people by fighting for our human rights. That was wrong. Everyone else turns their audiences towards me, partaking in active defamation to stir up an abusive mob to try and target me for that very reason. That's okay. The raw hypocrisy on display here is amazing. Criticism of people who defend violent transphobes is off limits. Abuse of trans people defending their very human rights is fair game. That is the message every single one of the creators who rush to partake in Oates' defamation is sending out. Unlike many in the comments...
Okay, just because you say it's violence, it doesn't mean that all trans people believe it's violence. Stop trying to be a spokesperson for a whole genre or a whole group of people. You are not she. Like, what? Oh my God. It's like Keffels all over again. You were Keffels before Keffels. Oh my God.
These creators know that Oates had baited me. They know I had her blocked. They know I'd only mentioned her a handful of times. But they chose to go with a lie that personally benefited each of them, rather than stand for what was true and what was right. No nuance, no self-reflection on how their response to me far surpassed what.
I know you're not sitting here talking about no nuance. I know you are not standing there talking about they couldn't read nuance when you quite literally cannot read nuance. Jaded, shut up. Shut up, Jaded. Jaded? Jaded? Jaded's like, this time next year, she'll be a goth mommy. Oh my God, Jaded. You should be ashamed of yourself. Hey, Blue Jay.
What I'd done? Nothing. Because as much as many of them pretend they're fine with trans people or anti-bullying, those are just bumper stickers to get more clicks and to deflect criticism from the trans community over their harassment of its members. They don't give a crap about the damage they've caused. Hell, many of them seem to revel in it. Stephen Woodford, the violent transphobe who began all of this, who is responsible for everything that has occurred these past 6 months, knew what he was doing when he made his recent video covering Oates. I know he knows because he did a field test with the atheist community of Austin back in May. Back then, he told his audience not to abuse the ACA moderators, seemingly to give himself plausible deniability as they swarmed every ACA social media page and did just that. The level of racist, sexist, homophobic, and of course, transphobic abuse the moderators had to deal with resulted in the entire team walking out. Many had to seek psychiatrists to help them repair the damage inflicted on them by...
Okay. Alright, here's another problem with this situation. Here's another problem with this situation. And this is like overall the whole situation, okay? These people, everyone involved, were way too sensitive. Everyone involved, way too sensitive. I think I need therapy, and I have not even talked to Ethel. I think I need therapy by watching this, Neon. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I need therapy after listening to Ethel for hours and hours and hours.
Woodford. So when he created his video aiming the exact same audience at me, once again taking the path of plausible deniability, he knew that his audience would ignore this request.
Rita.
He knew I'd start receiving such a large volume of transphobic abuse that would make it difficult to cope with. The same audience broke the moderation team of an organized charity. I am one person. That's when the death threats started to become more blatant. That's when the attacks became more focused on my trans status.
Okay, show the death threats. I need you to show me the death threats. Where are the death threats? Not you standing there talking. Show the... Because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe Ethel because what she shows as quote-unquote proof, I don't believe Ethel. I need Ethel to actually show me the death threats for me to believe it. Because I can't trust what Ethel just says. Because sometimes Ethel will say something is transphobic when it clearly is not.
Woodford has cultivated a very abusive audience, and he's figured out how to wield them, and it's a sad day to see this become an accepted part of the secular community. But that's what a lack of accountability has brought us.
Wait, like you try to wield your audience in your Discord? I have screenshots. Hey, essence of thought. I have screenshots. I saw that nice little list. By the way, Jessica Pizzle and I would like to be added to that list, please. Thank you very much. We were actually kind of heartbroken when we saw that list that we weren't on it. But yeah, I got screenshots of your Discord, girl. What's going on in your Discord? Like, you don't try to weaponize your people? Ma'am. What? Ma'am. I know you're not sitting here talking about weaponizing people. You have a whole ass list of creators who are known for being transphobic, etc., etc. Like, you don't try to weaponize your audience? Ma'am, I've seen the screenshots. I got screenshots for days. And I just would like, and I would like for it to go out there as no, I did not send anybody in. Thank you very much. It was provided to me. Okay. I didn't even know they were in there. Okay. So it wasn't an op. I wasn't running an op. Okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to open this section by noting the fact that this is not intended to sway your opinion in either direction when it comes to whether what I did was right or wrong. If there's anything the recent events surrounding the trial of Amber Geiger has shown us, it's that crying and talking about how your actions have impacted you does not necessitate those actions were moral. The only thing that has any merit in regards to that are the actions themselves. Was I justified in criticizing Oates for defending a violent transphobe? Was my response to her violation of my block unreasonable? So, if that's all you're here for, nice.
Her violation of your block? You know, everybody knows that I don't even know what to call. I lean left on the political spectrum. I don't even know what to call myself anymore because, like, liberals don't like leftists who don't like. I'm definitely not a tanky. I know that. Don't like tankies who don't like whoever else on the left who doesn't like this person. Okay, listen, I just lean to the left. Okay, I don't even know what to call myself anymore. But this shit here ain't it. All this shit right here is not it. This is not it.
I suggest skipping to the next section. I hope you think about the evidence presented here and alter your views in light of it, where necessary. But a lot of people have been reaching out to both myself and Adita, concerned about what has transpired and what the true cost of Oates' defamation has been. The easiest part to quantify are the metrics, so let's start with them. Following Oates' defamation and the subsequent fallout, our channel has lost more than 800 subscribers. A rather sizable dent when you consider the fact that the people who unsubscribe are likely to be amongst the most active when it comes to...
Do you think maybe they unsubscribed because they saw you being an asshole on Twitter and in your videos? Do you think maybe it was because of that? Do you think maybe it was a consequence of you being an asshole? Because usually that's what happens. It's the consequence of being an asshole. Or are you saying you can't be an asshole because you're a trans woman? Like what?
video interaction. We've also lost more than $160 in Patreon sponsorship. That's net loss, by the way. Not all of which has been a result of Oates' defamation, but certainly a large part of it was.
I find it amazing. Oh my God. Listen to this again. Hold on. Wait a minute. All right, let's listen to this again. Hold on.
And what the true cost of Oates' defamation has been. The easiest part to quantify are the metrics, so let's start with them. Following Oates' defamation and the subsequent fallout, our channel has lost more than 800 subscribers. A rather sizable dent when you consider the fact that the people who unsubscribe are likely to be amongst the most active when it comes to video interaction. We've also lost more than $160 in Patreon sponsorship. That's net loss, by the way. Not all of which has been a result of Oates' defamation, but certainly a large part of it was. This is compounded by the fact that myself and Adita only just moved, and we're now seeing a professional counsellor to help us with the abuse we faced the past 6 months. Because people very often don't understand the sheer volume.
Isn't it funny how Essence of Thought, hold on, 4215. 4215-ish money talk. All right. Isn't it funny how Ethel always talks about money? Isn't it amazing how she always ends up talking about money? Maya, financial violence. Man, I tell you what. I'm so glad I watched this video.
Of the abuse. Following Oates' defamation in the hours that followed shortly, I manually blocked more than 500 accounts for abusive tweets. We of course set our Twitter to protected when the influx became too much to deal with. Similarly, we changed YouTube comments to reviews since...
Hold on 1 second. Gonna download this bad boy. There we go. Downloading now.
transphobic posts would be started would attract people with the same feather, people who were then going to start their own transphobic post if the original was removed. By moderating comments before they were published, we were able to avoid this. On Facebook, we temporarily turned off messaging because that quickly became a popular venue for the abuse and threats we received. Speaking of threats, we received a wide range of threats, from ones talking about writing articles about us in newspapers if we didn't respond, all the way to several death threats. All threats have been handed to the police for further investigation. Which is another way what occurred has cost both myself and Adita. The time and energy spent filing multiple police reports and maintaining contact with both the Indian police and the Metropolitan Police, whilst also talking to various legal experts on
You're literally taking Twitter beef to the fucking police. Are you kidding me? What were the threats? Where are the threats? Oh my God.
4 separate continents. But that's all pretty basic stuff. The true cost of both myself and Adita has been psychological. Before Osa's defamation, we were already seeking mental health support for the abuse Stephen Woodford had brought upon us. Adita had already tracked down an LGBT+ inclusive counsellor in Delhi. We were just waiting on account of the fact that we needed to save money for our wedding, for my visa, and for the move to our new home. So we were pretty open when Oates carried out her attempts to defame me, and the rest of the clique she belonged to targeted their audiences at us.
But you can sit there and do the same thing to people. Rules for me and not for thee. Holy shit. You are like one of the biggest walking, talking hypocrites I have seen on this app. Oh my God.
Adita took things very hard. We're very close as a couple due to our shared childhood experiences, and we do our best to support one another, and that's what she tried to do. She kept reading what people were saying because she felt like she needed to be there to defend me, and all it was doing was tearing her apart to see the threats and the transphobic abuse. So in the end, I asked her to stop reading the messages we were receiving. I went so far at one point to suggest that we remove her as admin from the Facebook page, but then I figured out how to turn messages off. It really dragged her to a bad place. She would spontaneously break down whether she was at home or at work. She had to have some crisis counselling, whilst we talked to a friend who had loaned us some money for the move to ask if it was okay to pay them in small installments over a long period of time so we could go and start seeing the counsellor. A couple of months later, and she's starting to do better. Her new job is amazing.
Money, money, money. Like, I'm thinking something right now, but I'm not going to say it. But I will say this. When I'm done watching all these videos, if I hear money come up one more time, I'm going to have my mind made up. I'm going to have my mind made up. I'm going to reserve it for now, though.
New house is located somewhere she can walk around. She's been eating a lot of her cultural food recently with Diwali. In all, she's on the mend. As for me, it's complicated. The abuse itself doesn't get to me anymore. I'm a YouTuber who has been openly and visibly trans for several years. Constant abuse is sadly an established fact of my existence by this point. What really got me was not being able to put the evidence covered in this video in one central place whilst the investigation were in an early state.
You didn't really show any evidence. You showed Twitter beef. That's all you showed. You didn't show the severe stuff you were talking about. You didn't show any fucking evidence for that in this video. Once again, Ethel not showing evidence. Oh my God. Like we've never seen that before.
Seeing large secular YouTubers post defamative video after defamative video, actually propagating a fictional narrative of what took place on the 4th of September and the months leading up to it, was infuriating. It's truly eye-opening to see the
Axis, I have no idea, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't care. I have no idea, Axis. I really don't.
actions of some of the people in the secular community. Worst of all, however, was the way that the sheer volume of the lies started to eat away at my own thoughts. I remember waking up each day and checking Twitter's advanced search feature to see if I'd only responded to Otis' tweets 4 times as I remembered. You see, I became afraid that what I remembered of the evidence was an actual memory, but a dream from the night before. That I'd invented the baiting or the number of times I'd responded to Otis as a means to justify what had happened to myself.
Okay, you do know responding directly to Rachel Oates and talking about Rachel Oates on Twitter. You know, talking about Rachel Oates on Twitter is also responding to her correctly. And you do know that YouTube videos are also responding to Rachel Oates. You do know that, right? Not directly responding to her, but you're also responding to her by tweeting about her in a tweet. You idiot.
I found myself reading through the full police report each night to focus on what I could demonstrate occurred. And sometimes it still wasn't enough. Sometimes I started to think that they were right, that I hadn't been baited, that I hadn't blocked Rachel Oates, that I'd harassed her every day for the past 5 months. Abuse begets abuse. In my video, Bible Illustrated Gets Atheism Very Wrong, I commented on how many abusers want themselves abused, that people who have been abused are, statistically speaking, more likely to become abusers themselves. I mentioned how, for survivors of abuse, this fact is like a black mark you carry with you for the rest of your life, afraid you'll become the very thing that hurt you. Some of you out there caught on to the fact that I was talking about this from a very personal perspective. I was a victim of both domestic abuse and rape as a child, and this is one of the many ways that impacts me and my perception. Anytime I get angry, I become afraid that I'm hurtling down a slope, becoming something much darker. That's the paradox of my relationship with anger. On one hand, I tell others, especially trans people, to own their anger.
You need to get offline. Because you haven't changed in 5 years. You need to get offline. That is my recommendation. Not saying you need to be deplatformed, because I don't believe in deplatforming. I'm not saying that. But you need to touch some fucking grass.
Use it as a motivator and never let society strip you of that emotion to police the very things that make you human. Yet all too often I find it very hard to take my own advice. Anyone who has watched my channel for a while knows I often apologize for sounding aggressive in videos where I barely raise my voice. I plan to discuss this in further detail as part of my mental health awareness series, detailing my experiences of coming to terms with the facts that I'd been abused and what had occurred, but I never quite found the right tone for it at the time, so the third video, which would have covered the conditions I developed and the ways I was trying to manage them, was never completed. So to have hundreds, if not thousands of people feed directly into that fear, that really clawed at my psyche. Thankfully, it's now one of the things I'm receiving help for from my counselor, and that's where...
It didn't work, did it? Because you're acting the exact same way 5 years later. 5 years later, you're acting the exact same way. To the point where Lily Orchard's sister has come out about you. In a banger video, I might add. I still die at the fact when she said, "I am the captain now." It was amazing.
Where we are right now. We're steadily trying to fix the damage Oates' defamation.
No, Mix, I don't believe in banning. I don't believe in any of that. I'm sorry, we don't snitch around here. I don't believe in any of that. I understand your sentiment, but we don't believe in that over here. You know?
Has caused us. I don't know what the future holds. I imagine some people won't give this video a chance.
I can tell you what the future holds. You spent and went and did a whole bunch of fucking videos on Rachel Oates. And for 5 years, you have been obsessed with her. Even to the point you went after one of her friends. That's what happened. That's the future for you. Obsession. Obsession is the future for you.
But will instead take its very existence to validate the narrative they've been fed by bad actors. Yeah, I know one thing.
Nah, Mix. I don't even think Andrew Tate should be deplatformed. I don't think Fresh and Fit should be deplatformed. I don't think any of these people should be deplatformed. Because if they're deplatformed, then what am I going to have content for? Who am I going to be able to fight? You know?
I cannot let such falsehoods pass without challenge, to say nothing, to let the liars dominate the narrative. So if you're one of the people who has listened to what I've had to say, thank you. I know it's very easy to write me off in the current climate, so I thank you for giving me the time, if nothing else. As for Rachel Oates, I do hope she gets whatever help she needs. But that fact does not excuse what she did in setting out to defame me, seemingly as a means to silence a critic. I hope that in time, and with support present, she realizes the severity of what she has done. Just how much damage she's caused not just me, but the trans community through her active defamation. The feminist appropriators have already begun using said defamation to further their narrative of dangerous trans people to justify excluding trans women from women's spaces. Because, as I stated repeatedly throughout all of this...
I thought you were going to say they can dig their grave more. Well, yeah, Blue Jay, obviously. And the more they dig their own grave, the more I can make content out of it. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing, two different ways to say it.
I'm expected to act a saint when people call for the removal of my human rights. Even Ken Hovind got in on the action to try
and you know what other people's human rights are, Ethel? Other people's human rights are calling you on your bullshit. It is a human right. There is a reason why this is called freedom of speech. Freedom of speech works both ways. You get to say what you say, and people get to say shit back. whether you like it or not. Mix, I don't do that. I don't do that, Mix. I think that is a cheap way of putting someone down. When you can challenge their ideas, I don't have to go for looks. I think that's cheap, and I think it's childish to do that. Now, if I'm in a brawl where I'm literally yelling at somebody, sure, I may bring something like that up, but I'm not going to sit here and do that. I refuse.
Present this as an issue inherent with atheism. Yes, that actually happened. And in an odd sort of way, I would agree with him. When cliques like the one Oates belongs to form and its members are spared all scrutiny, this will continue to happen, as it has for the past decade. What transpired has sent out a message to all future trans voices in and around the second community. They've been told that if they dare to criticize people defending violent transphobes, that they should expect extraordinary levels of transphobic abuse, all with a seal of approval of self-declared trans allies. And that's just soul-crushing. Yet it doesn't have to be that way. We can do...
I don't know about that statistic, Bacon. I don't know if I believe that statistic. No, she didn't say Leafy's name.
They should expect extraordinary levels of transphobic abuse, all with a seal of approval of self-declared trans allies. And that's just soul-crushing. Yet it doesn't have to be that way. We can do better. We can hold bigots accountable for their actions. And if we're going to do that, we can't let the same people silence their critics. People like Oates, Woodford, and Westbrook have to be willing to reflect on their actions and listen to the voices they've harmed. They can't be allowed to dismiss a human rights issue as drama or criticism as harassment. They, Oates in particular...
Hold on. I don't need the link, thank you. Thank you. That's exactly it. Thank you, Axis. That's my point.
Also need to learn how to respect the fact that if someone has them blocked, they have them blocked for a reason. Now, that doesn't mean they can't criticize that person. That doesn't mean they have to stop talking about them. But if they openly circumvent that block to provoke their target, that is genuine harassment. And they shouldn't be allowed to demand a polite response when they set about doing that. Certainly not when they set out to do it to a marginalized person defending their human rights each and every day. Unlike Oates who can turn off a computer and walk away, I can't. My rights are in question wherever I go. And the misinformation still being put out there by Stephen Woodford, along with his calls to violence against me, are having...
Where was his calls to violence against you except for calling you out on your shit? Where was his calls to violence? Like what? Like, there's a thin line between criticism and becoming an anti-channel. It's actually not a thin line. It's a very thick line. It's a very, very thick line between becoming an anti-channel and criticism. You know what an anti-channel is? That's all they talk about. Anti-channels, that's all they talk about. Whereas criticism, yeah, I mean, I have 15 videos. I think 15. Is it 15 videos? Yeah, I got 15 videos on Mr. Girl. I'm not a Mr. Girl hate channel. But she's made other videos besides I wouldn't call her a anti, well, she's definitely anti-Rachel Oates, obviously. But I wouldn't call her an anti-Rachel Oates channel because she has talked about other stuff. And do I think she's obsessed? Yes. I think she's obsessed. So, alright, that's all I'm doing tonight because that rotted my brain. Not gonna lie, that completely rotted my brain. So, She always has to bring up her victimhood. It's never anything empowering. True. Very true. Alright, well, I think I'm going to get out of here. Work on the script a bit. Anything else before we get out of here? Oh, thank God we're free. True. I don't know what link you're talking about, Bacon, because you can't send me a link in this chat. And I already told you, I do not, that's not the topic of discussion. Thank you, Bacon. And you can't send a link in here. I'm not crazy enough to let just anybody send links in my chat. That's not how I work. And I already told you I didn't want to see it. No, you didn't already send anything. Nothing showed up. It might have showed up on your end, but not ours. So brave of you to risk brain rot, Xylie. Yeah, well, it's a thing. It is a thing. All right, let me get out of here because I got a meeting to go to right after this. And I got to work on the script. So I will talk at y'all later. Y'all have a good night. And don't be like Essence of Thought. Keep it real. Bye.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane. Making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic.